Welcome to this lesson on conditional sentences in English grammar. In this video, we are going to learn about the 4 types of conditional sentences. These are the zero conditional, the first conditional, the second conditional, and the third conditional. Conditional sentences help us talk about what could happen, what might have happened, and what we wish would happen. Most conditional sentences in English use the word if. So let us get started and understand each type one by one. Here is an overview of the 4 types of conditional sentences in English. The zero conditional, also called type 0, is used for general truths and habitual actions. It deals with the present real situation. The first conditional, or type 1, talks about possible conditions and their probable future results. This is the future real situation. The second conditional, or type 2, is used for hypothetical or imaginary situations. It deals with the present unreal. And finally, the third conditional, or type 3, refers to unreal past conditions and their probable past results. Now let us explore each of these types in detail. Let us begin with the zero conditional, which is also called type 0. We use the zero conditional when we want to talk about things that are always true, or things that generally happen. The time we are referring to is now, or always, and the situation is real and possible. This type is commonly used for general truths, scientific facts, and regular habits. The structure is simple. In the if clause, we use if plus the simple present tense. And in the main clause, we also use the simple present tense. So the formula is, if this thing happens, that thing happens. Both parts of the sentence stay in the simple present. Let us look at some examples now. Here are some examples of the zero conditional. Example 1. If you heat water to 100 degrees Celsius, it boils. This is a scientific fact, a general truth. Example 2. If you mix red and blue, you get purple. Again, this is always true. Example 3. If I have time on Sundays, I go to the cinema. This describes a regular habit. Example 4. If I get a headache, I don't take a tablet. This is a personal habit. Example 5. If it is raining, I take an umbrella. This is another habitual action. Notice how both parts of the sentence use the simple present tense. The zero conditional describes things that are generally or always true. Now, let us move on to the first conditional, also known as type 1. The first conditional is used when we are talking about the present or the future, and the situation is real. It describes a possible condition and its probable result. For example, something that might really happen. The structure is as follows. The if clause uses if plus the simple present tense. And the main clause uses the simple future tense with will. So the formula is, if this thing happens, that thing will happen. Let us now look at some examples to understand this better. Here are some examples of the first conditional. Example 1. If I win the lottery, I will buy a new car. This is a possible future situation. Example 2. If it rains tomorrow, I will be at home watching TV. We are talking about something that might happen tomorrow. Example 3. If you don't hurry now, you will miss the train. This is a warning about a real possibility. Example 4. If I have time tomorrow, I will definitely meet you. A plan that depends on a condition. Example 5. If you drop your mobile in water, it won't work. A probable result of a real action. Notice how the if clause is in the simple present, and the main clause uses will for the simple future. Now we come to the second conditional, which is type 2. The second conditional is used when we talk about imaginary or hypothetical situations. These are situations that are not real. They are not based on fact. The time can be now or any time, but the situation is unreal. For the structure, the if clause uses if plus the simple past tense, and the main clause uses would plus the base form of the verb. So the formula becomes, if this thing happened, that thing would happen. An important thing to remember is that we use were instead of was for the verb to be in the if clause. For example, if I were you, not if I was you. Let us see some examples. Here are some examples of the second conditional. Example 1. If I won the lottery, I would buy a new car. This is an imaginary situation. I have not won the lottery. Example 2. If I knew the answer, I would tell you. But I don't know the answer, so this is hypothetical. Example 3. If you studied harder, you would pass the exam. This is advice about an unreal situation. Example 4. If I were an animal, I would be an elephant. This is purely imaginary. Notice the use of were instead of was. Example 5. If I were you, I would make a complaint. Again, notice we say, if I were you, not, if I was you. The second conditional helps us imagine situations that are not real. Finally, we arrive at the third conditional, which is type 3. The third conditional is used when we are talking about the past, and the situation is contrary to reality. This means that the facts are the opposite of what is expressed in the sentence. We are imagining a different past, something that did not actually happen. For the structure, the if clause uses if, plus the past perfect tense, which is had, plus the past participle. And the main clause uses would have, plus the past participle. So the formula is, if this thing had happened, that thing would have happened. This is the most complex conditional type. Let us look at examples to make it clearer. Here are some examples of the third conditional. Example 1. If I had won the lottery, I would have bought a new car. But I did not win, so I did not buy a car. Example 2. If you had studied harder, you would have passed the exam. But you did not study hard, so you failed. Example 3. If you had left early, you would have caught the train. But you left late, so you missed the train. Example 4. If you had invited me, I would have come to the party. But you did not invite me, so I did not come. Example 5. If I had woken up earlier, I would not have missed the train. But I woke up late, so I missed it. In every example, the third conditional talks about the past and imagines a different result. Now let us compare all four conditional types side by side. The zero conditional uses simple present in both clauses and talks about general truths. For example, if you heat water, it boils. The first conditional uses simple present in the if clause and will plus base verb in the main clause. It talks about possible future events. For example, if I win, I will buy a car. The second conditional uses simple past in the if clause and would plus base verb in the main clause. It talks about hypothetical situations. For example, if I won, I would buy a car. The third conditional uses past perfect in the if clause and would have plus past participle in the main clause. It talks about unreal past situations. For example, if I had won, I would have bought a car. Notice the key pattern. As we move from zero to third conditional, the tenses shift further into the past and the situations become more and more unreal or hypothetical. Now it is time to practice. Let us go through some questions. Question 1 is a zero conditional question. What happens if we heat water to 100 degrees Celsius? Think about it. The answer is, it boils. Question 2 is a first conditional question. What will you buy if you win the lottery? Question 3 is a second conditional question. What animal would you be if you were an animal? Question 4 is a third conditional question. Would you have come to the party if I had invited you? Question 5 is again a first conditional question. Won't you come to college if it is raining tomorrow? And question 6 is a third conditional question. Would you have joined in Chennai if you had got a good rank? Try answering these questions on your own, using the correct conditional type. Great job! You have now learned all four types of conditional sentences in English. Let us quickly recap. The zero conditional is for general truths and uses simple present in both clauses. The first conditional is for future possibilities and uses simple present in the if clause and will in the main clause. The second conditional is for hypothetical or imaginary situations and uses simple past in the if clause and would in the main clause. And the third conditional is for unreal past situations and uses past perfect in the if clause and would have plus past participle in the main clause. Keep practicing these conditionals and you will master them in no time. Thank you for watching this lesson. See you in the next video.